Right, folks, Tenerife Day 5, 2024 Tenerife jaunt. What did we get up to yesterday? That would be Monday the 16th. Well, I'm going to tell you from start to finish. But I've got a question for you, folks, honestly, for all of you, but mainly you guys out there, any guys that watches this. Have you got another half, a wife or partner, anything like mine? Or, you ladies, is your husband anything like my partner? More of that in a moment. Right. How did we start yesterday? Well, I went in somewhere yesterday that I've never been in before. We went out, the weather's been overcast all week. Luckily we're here for a while, but it's been overcast, which is very unusual for this time of year. We hear it's been overcast for about 3 weeks now. So we go out and I says to her indoors, I'll tell you what, let's have a breakfast out for a change. We don't normally have a breakfast out. I said, let's have a breakfast out. And what we did, we went to a place we'd never been before. I said, let's do this one. It's near us. I keep passing it. I believe they're pretty good. Let's give it a go. Anyway, it's called Scotch Corner. And we go in. And I order a breakfast. Her indoors didn't want one. She was on just the old coffee, if memory serves. No, tell a lie. She had a bacon sarnie. And she loved it. I'm going to tell you what happened in the cafe. Then I'm going to ask you a question about your partners. I come to order the full breakfast. Because a bacon sandwich is no good to me. I want the full breakfast. No problem at all. And the great thing with the breakfast is, there's everything on there that I like. There's no tin tomatoes, and there's no mushroom, or black pudding for that matter. They're the three things I don't like. Tin tomatoes, I can't abide them. Don't mind them in a chilli, but can't have them on a breakfast. I think it tastes minging. I don't really get the tomato on a plate, that cut in half and whatever else. I don't get that really. I've got away with tomatoes. I'm going to tell you all one day, I do something for a breakfast and it's absolutely brilliant. I'll bring you all in on the secret further down the line. But anyway, there was an half a tomato there if memory serves. I'm sure there was. Do you know what? There might not have been. I can't remember. But bacon sausage, egg, beans, hash brown, and a round of toast. It was supposed to be a big breakfast. It was a bit disappointing. It was only one round of toast. Not enough for me. I ordered a couple more. Place, lovely and clean. Staff, lovely. Service, lovely. Breakfast, this is what I'm going to get to, because I believe in honesty here, folks, so I'm going to tell you the good, the bad. No ugly really, but the good and the bad. I wouldn't knock the breakfast at all. Would I go there again? Well, yes I would. Would I put anyone going off there anyway? No, I definitely wouldn't. Bacon, lovely. The old English stuff, no problem at all, or British stuff. Sausages, they may have been catering sausages, I don't know. But some people not catering sausages. If they were of very good quality. They tasted really, really nice. Hash browns, I can take them or leave them. Sometimes they're much of a nothing for me. They're too dry, they're too hard, they're not moist enough, they're just not tasty enough. This one was a nice big one. It was lovely. Egg and beans. The breakfast came with 2 bacon and 2 sausage. 1 egg, which I thought was strange because I'd have had 2, but I kept with that. And it says, and plenty of Heinz baked beans. Plenty of beans. I think they were Heinz, so you can't argue with that. The beans were Cracker Jacks. But there lies the first problem. He says, plenty of beans. So I thought, that'll do me. I'll have some of that. She comes over and says, do me a favour, lovey. The toast, I bet you cut it. Don't cut it in half. No problem, she says, because I like to make a butty. I don't care. I'm a northerner. I don't care how it looks. That's what I do. So anyway, she goes away. And about 10 minutes later, breakfast hasn't arrived. I said to her indoors, I like this. It's not straight out, that means they're cooking it now. I like that. Oh, I said, before she left, this is important, this. How could I forget this? This is the crux of my story. I said, oh, by the way, love, me egg, can you make sure it's a runny egg? She said, no problem at all. All our eggs are runny eggs. That is unless you ask us not to. The standard is runny egg. I thought, great, that'll do me. Because me and the wife, when we have egg, we like to dip the old bread in, or as my old mate would say, the old Holy Ghost. We like to dip it in there. We like a runny yolk. More of that in a minute. So I'm waiting for the breakfast. I've got a nice brew, nice cup of tea. Her indoors has got coffee. She said it was lovely. Going down the store, no problem at all. All of a sudden, they brings a breakfast to the guy in front of me, and I thought, he's only got one of them pots of beans, because I'd already said to the wife, oh, they do loads of beans. He says, great. I hate it when they bring them little pots with none in. I said, that does my nut in, that does, but it's loads on mine. Anyway, he had a little pot. He also had an egg, and I thought, that's an hard egg for my money. Another same mate calls them joke eggs, where you bang things in them and there's nothing there, there's no yolk. And I thought, I hope he asked for that, because I thought, this doesn't look good. She said, all they do is runny eggs. And I've asked for a runny egg. I thought, I better get a runny egg. Anyway, the breakfast comes, my breakfast. He had the old pot of beans. I thought, well, I'm not going to have that because it says loads of beans. Puts it down, little pot of beans like that, filled like that, and I'm thinking, is that it? It said on the menu, loads of beans. That's what it said. I'm not making up, it said it on there. So I paused them on, I thought, that's not enough for me. She comes past again, I said to her, excuse me, love, can I have some more beans? Do you want more beans? She said. I said, well, all it is, love, I said, it says on the menu, loads of beans, and it's on one of these little pots. Oh, okay then. She went and told the lady, I think it was the manager or owner. I don't think it went down over well. Not as it went down bad, but they didn't expect it. They took a good while to come back, which I thought was strange, because all it is a case of putting them in a microwave and doing a minute and a half, but they might have had other things to microwave. But it wasn't a microwave breakfast, it was a good breakfast, I promise you that. Anyway, as the breakfast comes, I noticed they've got the old rounder toast that you get with the breakfast cut in half. The other two weren't, and she said, see, I've not cut them in half. I said, well, no, but the one on the plate you'd have, I didn't want any cut in half, but I'll have it, don't worry at all. Anyway, she goes away. Oh, when I said to wife, only a little pot of beans. Oh, stop mithering. I said, but it says loads of beans. This is not loads of beans. I was over the moon with it, and I said, now I've got a little pot. So I asked about the beans, and then I said to wife, that's not a proper egg. I'm going to dip my toast in there, and it isn't going to run. Sure enough, doesn't run. Don't say it, says the wife. Don't say it. You're always showing me up. And I thought, this is the wife all over. More about it in a minute. And I thought, yeah, but I've asked for a runny egg, number one. Number two, she said, all that we do is a runny egg. But the fact that I've asked for it should make them think this is one breakfast we definitely don't want a hard cooked egg on. Because this guy specifically asked for a runny egg. I said to her in door, I said, do you know what? I'm going to say nothing. I'm disappointed, but I'm going to say nothing. But I'll tell you now, if I was here with lads, I'd send the egg back and say, I want another egg. I'm not being awful, but I asked for a runny egg. You said it's all that you do. Because I believe you should be able to do that, folks. Now, that takes me back to a story. And then I'll tell you something else. About 15, 20 years ago now, we're in Spain somewhere. I think I know where, but I'm not certain. So, this guy comes to the table. It's a Chinese. And I said, does that come with mushrooms? I think he said, yeah. I said, I want that dish, but no mushroom. He said, no mushroom. I said, no, I mean it, no mushroom. Oh, yeah, no mushroom. I said, listen, sir, I know I've said it to you twice, but I really, really don't want mushroom. I can't eat anything if it's been cooked with mushroom. I said, my wife would say move it to the side of the plate, but I don't want it. I said, as long as there's no mushroom, I want that dish, but if there's mushroom, I don't want it. No problem, no mushroom. Takes the order, 20 minutes later, comes back, fistful of mushrooms on there. I said, I'm not having this. The wife said, don't send it back. I said, I'm not having it. I've told him 5 times, I don't want no mushrooms. It's the one thing I've said, and he's brought me mushrooms. Don't move them to the side of your plate. I'm not going to move them to the side of the plate. They've been cooked in it. Just eat the rest of it. No, I said, look, I either send it back, or I'm just not eating anything. You can't do that. You can't leave all your food. It'll make me look silly. I said, it'll make you look nothing at all. You're happy with mushrooms. I'm not. If you said to him no mushrooms, they sent you some mushrooms, I'd send it back on your behalf, because I want you to get what you want. She went berserk. Anyway, obviously I sent it back, got a new dish with no mushrooms. Now, I'm not stupid. They could have gone away, took the mushrooms off and brought it back. I don't think they did. They could have done. They definitely could have spat in it. That could have happened. I would hope they didn't, but they could have done. But I don't know, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. And then as I'm mentioning that story to her, I said, wait a minute. It was only about 4 or 5 weeks ago now. You asked when you got home from work, you had a late finish, and you said, do you know what I fancy for my tea? What's that? I said, a cooked breakfast, as in, what you'd have in a cooked breakfast, like your sausage, the bacon, although she's not as keen on the sausage as myself. I'm not keen on that kind of sausage, but I like the old pork or beef one, you know what I'm coming from. Sausage, bacon, eggs and whatever else. She likes a bit of, what's it as well, the old, have you ever had with the breakfast cheese, melted cheese? Oh, it's lovely. Ooh, bit of milk on it, salt and pepper, under the grill, lovely. Anyway, I said, yeah, I'll do that. Did her an egg. She always has 1 egg. I normally have 2, because I'm greedy. That's just me. I did her egg wrong, didn't I? I overcooked it. She went berserk. What have you done with the egg? There's no yolk in the egg. What have you done with the egg? What have you done? Oh, it was all right to do it with me when I've cooked it. That's not a problem at all. But complaining in a restaurant when you've asked for a runny egg, that's not allowed. Well, I had her laughing as I was telling the story yesterday, because she's saying, you are right. I said, no, I'm right. I'm always right. That's the problem. I'm always right. If you're happy, you should be able to tell folk. That's not the end of the story. She asked for a glass of orange, fresh orange. 2 came big uns, €4 a pop. The beer was only €2.50, so it was nearly double the price of a pint of beer. I said, "You've not got me an orange, have you? I don't want one." "I've not asked for one," she said. I said, "It's one of two things. It's either a 2 for 1, let's hope it is, or they've made a mistake." I said, "But it's not on," especially when I looked at the mess, and they're €4 a pop. Anyway, didn't send it back, didn't say anything. I'd had the beans sorted, I ate the egg, kept my own counsel, which is not like me, didn't send them back. Now folks, I give a tip wherever I go. There's nothing special about me, I'm not saying this. Maybe many of you do, maybe some of you don't. Wherever I go, I give a tip. If I get a couple of drinks for me and her indoors, I'll always, nothing massive, I'll give €1, maybe a couple depending on what the drinks are or where I am, but I always give a tip. When we eat, I always give a tip. That's the first time in 4 or 5 visits I didn't give a tip. The service was great, everybody was great, although they got the beans wrong, the egg wrong and the drinks, but I thought, well, I can't remember what the bill cost, but I'd only given €4 or €5 as a tip. The drink cost 4. Rather than say, "You've sent this and you shouldn't have done, we didn't ask for it," and upset the lady or to have to take it back or to take it off the bill, I thought, well, you've made nothing out of it, lovey, but it's your mistake. I won't give a tip, and that's the 4 you'd normally have. I didn't even drink it, by the way, never got drunk, it was left full. I wanted them to think, why have they done this? And they might have even thought, should we have brought it? Did they ask for it? I mean, I don't know how you can bring 2 drinks when only one's been asked for. But as I say, it come on the back of the toast, the beans and the egg. Now, somebody called me in the last 24 hours, Alan Wicker, and the other half, Judith Chalmers. Well, I think they meant me as Judith as well, because I do go on a bit. But I don't think Alan and Judith are the stuff for that, and I don't think anyone should have to. But as I say, would I call the place Scotch Corner? Not at all. Was the breakfast nice? It was lovely. I got extra beans. Apart from the egg not being runny, it was lovely. Was the service good? It was fast. It was prompt. There were nice ladies. No problem at all. But there's 3 or 4 mistakes made there that shouldn't have been made. Especially the egg thing when you've mentioned it 4 or 5 times. Now, have any of you got a partner who is unhappy for you just to say to somebody, "That's not what I asked for, that's not what I want"? Do you have a partner that does the old, "Oh, you're showing me up now"? Because I don't get that, folks. I can't understand how anybody can be upset about you just saying, "Well, this is what I asked for, and this is what you said you'd do. Can I have what I asked for?" I don't think that's a lot to ask me. You don't get this with Judith Chalmers and Alan Wick, you don't get that, but you do with me. You get it all. Chapter and verse. Had the day out, knocking about, had a good walk, went up to Los Cristianos, probably walked 2-3 miles, out for 4 or 5 hours. Also managed a quick drink whilst we're away, a nice pub there called The Bell, I think it is. Nice landlord, nice little bar, nice drink. Walked back, great time had by both of us. Did a bit around the room, did a bit of recording on here. Went out to Mario's, the restaurant, the one nearest to the Pheasant Plucker, which is one of our favourites in the area. Very underused by many, not known by many. Doesn't look that salubrious from outside, but the food is normally absolutely lovely. A really extensive menu, lots on the menu, things that you probably wouldn't expect whilst abroad. I had the old T-bone last night. Not the best I've ever had, but only because it was a bit fattier than normal, but you can get that with a T-bone. But it was nice and moist and juicy and whatever else, so I enjoyed it. Great tea. And then we went to a bar we've never been to ever before. I say never been to it before. Last year when we were here, I think I called downstairs to have a look at it last year to see what it was like, because I was going to watch an act there that evening. We didn't in the end. Anyway, bar called the Night Owl. Cracking night. We got there late on. We got there about 10 to 10, I think it was, as the act that had been on, the first act was going off. We heard him sing for about 30 seconds. I said to wife, he's really good in, I think, from 30 seconds. I'll have to see him again. Guy doing soul, but an older guy, but only seen 30 seconds. Then the last act was coming on. Now, those that have seen the videos I've done about Tenerife will see I did something yesterday on the back of yesterday's Tenerife video about the best acts on the island. I think Craig has commented on a couple because he must come here. Well, I'll give you a new one, Craig, that you might know about. I didn't know about this fella. The last guy on last night at the Night Owl was a guy called, I'll put the bins on for it because I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Never heard of him before. Clarence Stanley. A guy called Clarence Stanley. Black lad, I believe from South Africa. Yet another, because we've seen a guy about 3 or 4 days ago called Byron Noble, who Craig had heard of and had seen. I didn't know Byron Noble. I've been told today that Byron Noble was Male Entertainer of the Year on the island only last year. Yes, I think it was back end of last year they did the Entertainer of the Year. I think it was. But he's won it last time. We've seen this chap last night called Clarence, it's another black fella from South Africa, as was Byron. He came on. The first song he did was as good a first song as I've seen anybody do ever in cabaret. And I mean anybody, other than acts that you pay your 20, 30, 40 quid for. Better than... The first song was just brilliant. I can't remember what it was, but it was brilliant. But he danced with them. He looks the business. Good looking lad, tall, very slim, very elegant, proper suit on, he'll whistle and fantastic shirt, tie, the business. And he couldn't half move. Absolutely brilliant. Now the night, for those that don't know it, is mainly soul and Motown. I like all kinds of music, but I'm a rocker at heart. But I like lots of soul and Motown, weirdly. And I like anybody that can sing a great song really well. And he sung many of the classics. Now I said only yesterday, these are my favourite 5/6 acts on the island. And I said the ones that I've seen in previous years. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I said only yesterday, I hope during the course of the holiday year, I have another 1 or 2 that join them, but I don't expect it to be. For me, these 5 or 6 acts way better than all the rest. This guy's in there. This guy's just got in there only a day later. Absolutely brilliant he was. And in the end, he ended up doing about 1 hour and 25, 1 hour and 30, which is really unheard of. They only tend to do 45 minutes to an hour here. He was the last act of the night, and I think it was his last gig of the night, but they tend to do the spot and want to pack up and go, and rightly so, because they're on the go 5, 6, 7 days a week. But the guy was sensational. And a funny story, I'm talking to a guy in there, lovely fella, from Bootle, a Scouser. Well, I said to him, are you Scouser? He said, no. I said, oh, you sound like Scouser. He said, I'm from Bootle. And I thought, ain't that a Scouser? Anyway, nice fella. I think he said he was in his early 70s, 70, 71. He was on about a club that he used to frequent in Liverpool. I think he called it Allison's, but I could be wrong about that. And he said they had all the top acts there. We were talking about Tommy Cooper, Doddy, and people like that. We had a great chat, lovely fella. And I said, this guy's singing, he's brilliant, isn't he? He said, well, he's alright. He said, but it's not my kind of music, it's not for me. I said, oh, right. I said, well, I'm not brought up with this kind of music, but I appreciate him. I think he's brilliant. I think he's been fantastic. That was that. Well, I couldn't remember old Clarence's name. So I thought, go on the Night Owl, click Night Owl and see what's on for the week. I'll get his name from there. Anyway, when you click, it always takes you up the top there to Facebook. I don't do Facebook, I don't do any of that. But you can click into it and it'll let you see the main front page. And it had Clarence's name on there. And then I noticed there's a video on there. Because the Night Owl's been closed for a few weeks, I think, for summer holidays. They only reopened last night. It was the first night open, our first night in. I mean, we went in. It's a lovely place. Downstairs club, lovely place. It was packed. And you've got all the soul boys and girls, doing the old Northern Soul. Brilliant to watch. You've got people in the 60s, 70s there dancing. And I said to her indoors, this will keep them younger, I'm telling you now, because they can cut a rug, some of these. Fantastic to see, because you've got blokes dancing on their own, women dancing on their own, and they're cutting a rug good style, and they're really moving. I said, this will keep them fit, supple. This is good. Anyway, I was enjoying it, as I say, but I went on the old Night Owl thing, and there's a little video on there. I thought, I hope I'm not on it, because I was in there. I've looked, I wasn't, folks, otherwise I would have told you about it. Not that I was doing anything, I wasn't, just sat down. Clicks onto it, and there's people dancing there, and all of a sudden, bloke comes into a shop with a hat on, and a badge there, and I thought, that's your man from Bootle. Anyway, the video goes on for 2.5, 3 minutes, and he's doing all the dancing, he's the main dancer. Gets on the stage, and he's doing all this on the stage, clapping his hands, and making the party swing, and I'm thinking to myself, you don't like this kind of music? Someone must have said, we're going to film this bit now, and he thought, well, I want to be on that, and he was up there. I didn't see that must have been before we got in there, but I thought, I cannot believe it. He tells me he doesn't like this kind of music, and he's the main man of the video. Unbelievable. Great fellow he was, by the way. If you happen to watch it, I don't know what your name is, and it's unlikely you'll ever see it. I like you. You were good company, but I thought it was funny. So, that was day 5. Today, day 6 has started. Well, I've met someone that I was really pleased to meet, somebody from a field that I've never met before. So my day started really well. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. Let me knock it off. Where do I knock it off? See, folks, without these bins on, I can't even see where the little arrow is to knock it off. I'll see it now. Anyway, hope you're all well. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated.